All right, everybody, welcome back to another Courageous Conversation with Marlene and Sam. Today, we're going to be talking about continued development, professional, personal, and the agility within your marketplace. Marlene, welcome to this Courageous Conversation. How are you doing today, and what do you think about this topic?
I love this topic and thank you. Thank you for having me today. I really love this topic. Why? I think and I see things are shifting so rapidly. And sometimes I think, is this something that people comprehend? Is this just something that people understand that you need to see that the world is changing? And not even from a technology point of view, which is also that business are being saturated so that you need to shift and build again in the niche and in the decentralization thinking that we came from, and building the centralization, but now going back and see and rethink our strategies in this. So this is I think this is a topic that will just really bring so much to the surface, but we really need to discuss this. I think this is something that we need to tap in and discuss further.
Yeah, I think this is something that's definitely top of mind for both of us as, we have continued to push agility in our own careers, but also worked with incredible industry innovators as they've stayed ahead of the curve for so much of the innovation that's been coming in the last 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. And what we're seeing in the rapid pace, I want to talk about pace for a second, the rapid pace at which we're evolving across all industries definitely needs a different point of view, perspective, and sense of service than prior innovation periods have needed. What are your thoughts on again that pace that we're seeing innovation come into line, and maybe some tips and tricks on how companies can ensure that agility is part of their model?
It's a good one. Pace is everything. Pace is just all about the decision making. Pace is all about having your people involved. Pace is all about having your system in place. It's just like it's this chain that you need to have in place, whether your pace fits in. So if you would like to move rapidly, everything needs to be in place. If not, you need to just take it back, take it out, see how you can convert that easily and quickly. Be efficient in that, and then you can move up and speed up also the pace in this. And I mentioned in the beginning, pace of decision making, that is very important. Understanding and seeing that the macroeconomic developments right now are asking you to make different decisions. So if you have the business data available in this, analyze this to such an extent that you understand what is needed, what the market is needed, and what are you serving in this market. And in this element where you're serving, where you think that you need to improve, those are the elements that you need to focus on, and really taking it to a next level from an innovative point of view, not just only having improvements, but just really seeking out what is being served from a technology point of view and integrate that into what is happening in the new world and the new economies that are arising. So
Mhm.
sorry, I think in this, the tips and tricks in this would be understanding what is your business data. I really would like to urge people just understand what is happening with the business data, what is happening in all areas in your in your organization. Having financial information that is backward looking information is also very important. Do not underestimate that. Financial information, risk management information, that is all to build on the sustainability, all about building on the longevity. But on the other hand, being agile, being flexible, being able to respond to the market in the pace that we discussed, having your staff, your systems, your structures in place, that is what is needed from now.
Yeah, absolutely. And really understanding, the interconnectedness of one piece of data into the other aspects of your business. I know for so many decades, information about the business was in silos. One division to the next did not have transparency, accessibility to the elements that are really creating, the ability to optimize or to be agile within the organization. I think what's really beautiful about today, because data is so accessible, it can now be so transparent. And I know for myself, in a lot of the consultancy roles that I've had in recent years, that's been one of the greatest contributions I would say I've made is really being an advocate for the transparency of data so that your teams with their unique areas of expertise can actually look at that interconnectedness and bring solutions to the forefront that that ensure that you're staying ahead of technological innovation.
I love how you mentioned it. I think we should have met earlier, but that is how I describe the 5 pillars in my book, Maximize Your Cash Flow, 5 pillars to profit. It's all about having this comprehensive overview where we're not working in silence, but we have this multi-dimensional approach, thinking and seeing your business working together and evolving together, having all elements into place, and just using financial and risk management to just working on the stability, so your fundamentals in this, and then being very agile and being very innovative towards the market, that you can respond like rapidly and just serve your clients to the best element in doing so. So I have the 5 pillars in this, and this is pillar 3 that I'm mentioning, having your customer experience, building everything around that, just from your strategy, taking there and elevating your performances. That is all about how I see the methodology, and this is also how you applied it in your work, just taking it from a comprehensive overview and not from a one-dimensional approach. And I really love how we emphasize on this. You cannot survive when you only look at it from a one-dimensional approach. It means that you're missing out on things. You really need to work together, having this collaborative mindset that takes you to a next level, and that you can survive within the new economy that is arising right now.
Absolutely, absolutely incredible insight there, because the going back to the pace, right? The pace of the innovation that's about to come. If you continue to have, as a business leader, business owner, have your head in the sand about what your current capabilities and capacity are, you will likely be blindsided by the innovation that is coming, versus if you open up the vaults and really look deep into where it is you have your faults, be honest about those faults, those limitations, and those opportunities of improvement, right? We always try and put a positive spin on it. If you have a weakness, it's not a weakness, it's an opportunity to improve. And what's really great about that is when you acknowledge that it's an opportunity of growth, you oftentimes are less hindered by what it might mean to dig into a new aspect of your business, right? It removes the emotional tie to what this innovation might bring, and it ensures that you're ready to look at it square on and find an innovative factor that can be implemented into it. I find it really fascinating with the founders' conversations I've been having over the last month. We are looking at lean divisions now. It's not about the overpopulated boardroom like it was before, where there's a lot of ego involved. There's a lot of opportunity for innovators to lean into their unique skill set and bring their personalized optimization to the conversation, their area of expertise into the next strategy that's coming. And what I find really powerful about these conversations with these founders is that they're open to the idea that they don't have all the answers, and they're willing to outsource. It's no longer about this need to have everything under your own control. Who's my strategic partnership that I need in order to move forward into this new innovation and direction? And for everybody watching, this is something that Marlene and I speak so often about, is the power of those strategic partnerships. It is okay to have limitations and weaknesses, so long as you're very transparent about them, addressing them, and looking for the strategic partner to fill in the gap.
That's true. It is if you focus on your core competence, you will understand that you're not capable of doing everything by yourself. So that means that you really need to look out for someone that is doing a better job in this, and just having your due diligence on this, so that you have this really great partnership working together and just moving towards the goals that you have together in mind. So it's all about seeing what is the opportunity in this, and seeing that it's not having everything in-house, but just feeling that you feel comfortable with outsourcing. Mind you, though, when you're outsourcing, just first start knowing and understanding your processes in this, knowing and understanding where are your efficient processes in this, because that will take you lots, and just also coming back to the pace, that will just help you in the pace of just moving forward and choosing your strategic partner in this. It's very important to have very efficient, standardized processes before you outsource something. But just coming back to that, that means if you understand that, it also means that you understand your core competence. So it just all is, it's an interaction that you need to understand. What is the business data? What are my core competence? And if it's not my core competence, then you should find your strategic partner in this.
Yeah, really, really powerful highlights and synergies there, because as we've highlighted so many times on our collaborative conversations together, it is really powerful just to play with what else, what could happen, what's next, what, when you have the right team in place, when you fully understand your core competencies, you can really play with the idea. Oh, here's the niche in the system, the industry or the environment that we can go in and tackle. When you fully understand and have a baseline of what it is your company stands for and who your people are and what capacities that they can fulfill, you understand the second you see white space, blue ocean, right? However you want to terminologically talk about it, you can go and find that. You can go and capitalize on it again without having time at risk, right? Immediately go after and capitalize what it is you can serve into your industry. This keeps you in front. This also keeps you agile to innovation, and it keeps you growing. Stagnation existed in prior decades, but I don't think there will be much tolerance for it in the future. What are your thoughts around tolerance for non-innovative companies going forward, Marlene?
That's very important, good question, and a very difficult one to answer, though. And I think it's at one point you think it's very clear there's zero tolerance, because otherwise you will just lose your head start in this at your competitors. If you will not do that, the competitors will do so. So, but on the other hand, it's also it's still the interaction of your customers and you being as being perceived as being the market leader. So from that point of view, it gives you a little bit more tolerance if you have the position that you're the market leader in this. If not, then I think you should really quickly adapt to what is happening in this new era that we're facing right now in digitalization, with technology, with big data, with business and analytics, IA. So that just really forces you that and makes that the tolerance leverage is quite small. But still, I think it's very difficult saying. I know for myself that I thought that I was an innovator, but then at some point I'm just looking at things and I'm still like, wow, I know for myself that I have a certain level of innovation, but still I think things are moving just quite rapidly, and just moving more forward to that means that you need to calculate much more than you're willing to see, and really and need to mitigate the risk in this much more that you would love to. But on the other hand, if you're not doing that, you will lose your market position in this.
Yeah, I love this awareness of market positioning and how long will the greats stay the greats. I think we're seeing legacy organizations dethroned at a faster pace than we ever thought imaginable before. When, of course, in my experience, I come out of the luxury beauty industry, and for the longest time, one brand in particular held the space. They were premier. Within the last 4 to 5 years, we've seen other companies come in at billion-dollar valuations where they clearly had a stake in that arena and would perceptively not have been dethroned ever. And I think that the pace of innovation, this brings it all full circle for the wrap of this conversation today. We're seeing the innovation come so quickly, and those who have true understanding of their capacity, their capability, their strengths, their weaknesses, their full 360 of business opportunity, they're the ones who will roll with these punches, because innovation and rapid pace growth are going to be coming out of every industry. Final thoughts as we wrap up for today, Marlene.
I think you mentioned it very adequately. It's all around us. It's not only subjected to only one sector. We thought in the beginning that it will only hit for one sector, but if I would own, for example, working in the financial sector for years and for decades, I see that also their changing are taking place in a rapidly mind shift, because one, it's a highly regulated environment, and from the regulation point of view, things are just also being forced. To have more innovation, to be more transparent, and means that the tolerance in this is really becoming very limited. But also other sectors they need to innovate as quickly as possible, just to be part of the value chain. And that is, I think, the whole interconnection, and the ecosystem is seeing that the ecosystem has this interconnectivity. And from that point of view, it's not, if you're not understanding that you need to evolve with this, then you will really well, it will take you back into decades back. And at some point you will wake up and think, well, I think I just missed the boat here. And it's very good to have conversations like this, and just helping people understanding, creating this awareness, and just helping them see how things are developing in the world. It's not that we're it's just from a opportunity point of view. I think this is an era that lots of opportunities are arising, and people just can level themselves up in this. And that is what we need to bring to the world, and that is what we're bringing with this conversation. So I really think that we should continue on bringing these topics, and that those are my final thoughts. We need to discuss this, sharing our knowledge, and just brainstorming about this, how it affects us, but also the world.
Yeah, really, really powerful. Incredible conversation today. I loved how many different angles with which we took development, personal development, professional development, and just corporate innovation and ingenuity into the forefront of the conversation about where will we be in the next short period of time. And I think for all founders, executives, and leaders who are listening to these conversations with us week over week, please let us know how we can continue to evolve the conversation and touch and tap into new topics of interest to you. I know for each of us, we get very engaged with where the conversations can go and how fast innovation can come. This is something that we both invest our entire lives into. We love these topics. We love, being at the forefront of hosting these conversations. Again, any way that we can be of service to you, please do let us know. And thank you all so much for tuning in. Until next time.
Thank you.